So VARTA Microbattery, we are a German-based company. We do about $200 million worth a year in annual revenue. We have a lot of different business segments. We started as kind of a small coin cell, small cell format battery system. In fact, we do a lot of that currently today. We're the largest zinc air, which are the hearing aid batteries, manufactured in the world. And from that, we kind of branched off into doing a lot of OEM work on some small cells, and then we started doing larger kind of custom battery packs around lithium-ion, lithium polymer solutions. So starting from single cell to multi-cell battery packs, it went from say 20 watt-hour batteries to 100 watt-hour batteries, and as the batteries became more and more complex in different applications that we participate in, such as medical devices, industrial devices, data communication devices, this seemed like a natural offshoot as these batteries become in the 400 to 500 watt-hour types of systems. So it really is focused on our kind of core strength, which is excellent quality, excellent performance, very complex battery systems. And I think that's kind of where we really excel, because when you begin to take a look at what's needed in a system, when you're putting multiple lithium-ion batteries together in a very, multiple in series and parallel configuration, is you need to have very good monitoring with the electronics in there. So the design has to be very good, both from a performance and a safety standpoint. And so that's what we do. We've leveraged the things that we've done earlier in our history and have come up to here. The other thing that's very unique about some of our systems is that, and it's kind of some of the work that we've done recently with Höganäs on the motor side, is we're able to offer kind of a complete system from a bike to a motor controller and also to the motor as well, so that we can offer that system. What we do, on the battery side, not only do we have very good electronics that monitor the battery, but then also the communication electronics, not only to the system itself, but also we have some Bluetooth capability that's able to go to like an iPhone app or an Android app that can. So when you're on the device, or when you're on the bike and you're pedaling, you can see what the battery state of charge is, how fast you're going, and it can so you can know both. Gives you some performance aspects of the bike as well as performance aspect of the battery itself. So we started this business probably 3 or 4 years ago in Germany and in Europe, and that's kind of where it kind of started. We looked at that as we saw a growing electric bike business in Germany. We saw lots of them popping up. We thought we could leverage our expertise, in battery pack manufacturing into this market segment. So we began to look for partners, in that area. What we're seeing here in the U.S. is that it's probably about 5 years or so behind. So this is really a good time for us here in the U.S. as we're beginning to see more and more bike manufacturers coming out with electric bikes. I think you look at it from the advantage standpoint is you see some of these bikes going anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500. That seems to be like a lot of money. But for really bike enthusiasts, it's not that much. Personally, I have 3 road bikes that I ride. For me, there's some custom bikes. I have a triathlon bike and a road bike, and I spend, $4,500 on each one of these bikes. Right. So for people that are looking at those kind of custom and specialized bikes, it really falls within kind of the right market segment. So we see this as kind of a growing opportunity. You begin to see it, and it's just not only with bike enthusiasts, but you're beginning to see it in larger cities, larger urban areas where you have some certain bike sharing programs and things like that, where the commuter wants to get from one place to another relatively quickly, but doesn't want to put a lot of effort behind it. And that's, again, where an e-bike is ideal. So we actually don't manufacture the cells. We have tier 1 suppliers that we do full qualification on the product. So we don't put a battery product in until we do a full qualification of the cell. Right from there is that we do everything else after that. So we'll do the electronics behind the battery pack. We'll do some of the software that monitors the battery system. We do all the mechanical and electrical work in order to put it in place. So a lot of the engineering work we have in-house, a lot of the IP is there as well. Okay, so I can talk that from kind of 2 areas. One is that we look at the battery itself as a system, charger, battery. So we want to make sure that the complete system talks together. Again, on the battery side, because I think you have to put protection and safety in both areas. So there's a significant amount of safety in the battery pack itself for overcharge, over-discharge, deep discharge, those sort of things, to ensure that the battery and the cells that are in the battery aren't compromised. Again, there's individual monitoring of the cells and the modules, if you will, in there to ensure that that's all done. And then on the charger side, you want to make sure that there's good communications. We use an SM bus system to basically provide that information back to the charger and make sure that there's a kind of very close sync between the charger design as well as the battery pack design to make sure that that if there is a failure mechanism that you have multiple different safeguards to ensure things like this won't happen. Right. And I think it's it's really too early to say. We believe that it's going to be just as big as Europe, if not bigger. And the reason we say that is because we really see a lot more of in these kind of urban areas or very small communities this kind of need for electric bikes, and we see some a lot of interest in some of those sort of things. And I think with the kind of disposable income in the United States and people kind of wanting to do something like this. That we see this as kind of a particularly growth market for where this is going to be. It would not surprise me in about 5 years is that if the U.S. Market for electric bikes could be in the $2 to $3 million or 2 to 3 million unit range.
Oh, that would be.
So that's a good question. So at this show, what we've done is we have a very standard type of system. So we offer two basically four standard battery packs. One is a 36-volt system, and based on being here last year, we realized that we should also offer a 48-volt system. We saw a trend going in that direction in two different capacities, about 400 watt-hours and 500 watt-hours for each one of those. And that is stuff that we offer today. We're showing some of the stuff in the brochures on that today on some of the bicycles. We'll be able to go to production samples in Q4 of this year, so in about a month or so, be able to provide some of that, and then really look to kind of launch higher manufacturing in 2015. We also do custom battery packs, so we've done stuff. We like some of the things from this extruded tube design, where you can kind of shape. Okay, we need this much energy. We have very good technology around how to do something like that, and we're also looking at rack-mounted designs for some of these battery packs. So those would be very much custom. In that case, we're looking for much larger bike manufacturers that's willing to commit to say 1,000 bikes or so. That we can design a very custom program for them and put the function features in the battery pack that they're looking for.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You have a great show.
Right, thanks.